Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
We're back. Number 2, part
Welcome.
2.
So, buddy, we're here talking a little bit more about, hold on. First, I want to say, before we get into any of the nitty gritty,
Okay.
thanks to everyone who's out there listening. You guys are all awesome. Thank you to anyone checking us out on the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network. We're happy to be a part of it. And by all means, check out the other shows that are going on over there. There's tons of awesome, like, Stallone content.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Bruce Willis podcast called Where There's a Willis, There's a Way.
I like that title.
There was and there's another one I think called Drop a Bruce, where they go through every Willis movie and they decide whether it was a piece of shit or a good movie.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, awesome stuff happening over there. And if you're listening to us over there, check us out on our own feed and check us out on social media.
Yeah.
Eric is running the Instagram. He's hooking the Facebook up.
Do what I can. I can.
Man, we're trying to do a little something. So we're at 6DOS Podcast on the various social medias where we exist. There. Now that that's out of the way.
You look good. Oh, shoot, man.
We're back
Housekeeping is done.
to talk Last Action Hero. I love it.
Not Last Action Hero.
Oh, wait, no, shit. Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout.
Yeah,
Right. An easy
sorry,
mistake to make.
I'm drinking old fashions. I'm day drinking. You're drinking high noons.
I'm
You're
drinking
like,
high noons.
Yeah, you're pacing yourself like a responsible adult.
Well, it's just because I went hard last night on a really nice bottle of wine. So
Okay.
I'm a bit of a lush, and I thought maybe I will pace myself in this day drinking session.
Sorry about that. Last Boy Scout. The
Yes.
Last Boy Scout. Bruce Willis, 1991.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Damon
background
Wayans
with this movie?
So my background with this movie, 91, I was 10 years old. So the first movie I ever saw R-rated movie I ever saw in theaters was Die Hard in 88.
Hell
So R-rated movies was never a thing my parents were concerned about me watching.
Okay.
I didn't get to go see this one in theaters, but I did check it out because we had cable.
Yeah.
And so when it was on HBO, I remember watching it on HBO
Okay.
and being like shocked at how darkly violent it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a much darker movie than the other sort of era of action movies that I had seen.
Yeah.
And I remember not really liking it as a kid
Yeah.
because it felt a little bit over my head emotionally, right?
Okay.
You know, just the nature of Willis's character, the nature of the conspiracy about gambling in sports and that kind of stuff. None of it. I mean, I had no context for it.
It's a complex plot, more so than like a Die Hard,
Right.
Where it's like it's just very
Kill the
much
bad
like,
guys.
and like it's as simple as can be.
Yeah.
basically, or like a Predator or something.
Right,
It's as simple
exactly.
as can be. It's alien fighting soldiers.
Yep. Exactly.
It's terrorists versus cop.
Yep. Exactly.
Not like a mystery to unravel.
Commando, all of those movies are very simple plots, very easy to watch.
Yeah.
And so as a kid, I could watch them and not get lost and enjoy the violence. But this movie, it was over my head for an action movie, pure and simple.
I'm curious how this movie did internationally because I couldn't find that information. But like apparently that's why action movies do so well overseas is because you take a movie like Commando, you could watch that shit on mute and follow the plot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, same with Die Hard. I think you could watch it on mute and you can keep up with the plot. You don't need the language barrier is not a thing.
Sure.
You know, this movie, I feel like if you couldn't follow the language, you would get lost.
Well, I mean, like the politics of sports betting in the United States is a very unique, very American phenomenon, right? at least how we approach it. I mean, I'm sure there's betting all over the world, but as we do a lot of things in America, we do it very weird. And sports betting is one of those.
Only available in certain cities.
Exactly.
Except now it's all on your cell phone now, but not back then.
Right, exactly. And so, there's a subtlety to the script. I mean, I use the word subtle loosely here because it's still a Shane Black action movie, but there is some subtlety to the script that went right over my head when I was a kid. Yeah.
Because like you, I didn't see Die Hard in theaters, but I think Die Hard was among the first ever R-rated movies I saw. It was on HBO. It was that and like Kickboxer and Predator. And those were, Kickboxer is not as great as I give it credit for. I love it, but Die Hard and Predator are like next level amazing.
I agree.
And so when I saw this one, I feel like it was probably like a Blockbuster rental, or something like that. Yeah. And I think I was a little underwhelmed seeing it as a 12-year-old or whatever I was at the time, and like probably 93 or 94 or something like that. And seeing it now as an adult, I'm like, this is a fucking good movie.
It's actually really
this is actually really good.
Yeah.
It's got more of a smart plot than most of the action movies.
I agree. And you were talking before recording how Shane Black really wanted to sort of do this was his first attempt at doing like sort of a noir thriller. And I think he pulled it off. Like every aspect of it hits all the notes.
You were loving that bit when we were watching it. You were like, oh, this is like a noir movie.
Yeah.
It totally is.
The only thing it was missing was a femme fatale, really.
Right, yeah. None of the women get huge like screen time.
Right, exactly. But otherwise it was, it's a pretty good, fun little pot boiler.
Yeah. No, it's definitely good. I'll try to bring us up on the plot as it's unfolded in the first chapter.
Okay.
So it opened with sort of a non sequitur little scene of this football player getting a mysterious phone call from a guy named Milo telling him, you got a lot of money on this. You better start scoring touchdowns. And the guy like had a breakdown on the field, like shot some other players, shot himself on the field in the middle of the game. Then it cuts to, we're introduced to the character Joe. That's Bruce Willis's character. He's like this sort of burnt out private eye. He's like permanently hungover and in a bad mood, which I love. And he essentially gets a phone call from his buddy telling him, I got a job for you if you want it, sort of babysitting this stripper who feels like her life's in danger. He says, yeah, I'll take the job. And then he finds out that his wife is actually cheating on him with the very same friend of his who pitched him that job with the stripper. He says he'll still take the job. Then the friend, like, his car blows up and he's killed, which is a wild thing to happen. Then we also have this character named Jimmy, who's a former football player, who's also he's been kicked out of the league. We don't really know why yet. That's all we know about him, I think.
Yeah, we know very little about Jimmy at this point.
Yeah, except that he just seems like he's burned out like a drug addict or on pills
drug addicts,
or whatever.
Yeah, like sports player.
So that's where we're at. Joe's going to take this job protecting this stripper named Corey.
Very succinct, very... Brevity is the key to communication, and you did it.
The thing that's odd to me is, so we assume that the death of the guy Mike in the car bomb is related to the job with Corey.
I mean...
Because this is a movie.
Because it's a movie.
We assume these things are going to be connected.
Right.
If you're Joe and your buddy Mike just blew up in a car, are you like going to still do that job?
I mean...
Or are you going to say... I don't know if I want this job anymore because someone killed this man.
Yeah. I mean, if I were Joe, then screw the $500. I'm like, even if he was, stripping my wife, I need to figure out what he was into that was dangerous enough.
So you're trying to investigate Mike's murder. If you're Joe, you're curious, or are you just like, I just don't want any part of any of this?
No, if I'm Joe and I'm this hard, boiled... Like, that's where there's smoke, there's fire. And there was a lot of fire there. All of a sudden, like, I'm thinking there's a payday. Whatever Mike was into, this is some big shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to, like, investigate what killed Mike.
This is not like the car malfunctioned and it blew up.
No,
this is like there was a brick of C4 under the hood.
Right.
Because this thing was like...
it went up.
It would have leveled a building.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to give, like, forget the stripper who needs someone to look after her. I'm going to go look for Mike's
That was the thing that kind of I was curious about because I'm like, all of a sudden, he's not scared off by this.
Yeah, right.
He just goes about his business. I'll still take that job.
I mean, I guess I feel like if I were Joe, I would assume that it wasn't related. Because this was a side hustle. Because Mike was even telling me, I don't have time to do this job, which is why I'm tossing it in your direction, right? And so if I'm Joe, I'm like, well, I got the job. It's $500, and Mike died. I don't know why he died. I guess I'll look into that later. But in the meantime, I'll watch this stripper for a little bit.
I guess $500 is $500,
especially in '91.
What was inflation like? What would $500 have been like the equivalent to today?
I have no idea off the top of my head.
A couple $1,000
Yeah, a couple
maybe?
$1,000 probably.
Okay.
And all he has to do is like sit and watch her for.
Make sure that no stalker is bugging her. Or
right.
whatever.
Exactly. I'm like, all right, I can do that. No reresearch or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I were
to
Joe,
hang out at the titty bar all day and get paid for it. What?
There you go. I mean, it's win-win all the way down for him. Alas for Joe, Mike's death and Corey's situation are one and the same, as we will discover.
Yes.
As we move on to part 2. All right, we ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we fade up from black again, and it's later in the scene, and it's swarming with police. They've showed up, surprisingly.
I love the trope of the crime scene with just dozens of cops bustling
just milling around. Like, what are you doing?
Like murmuring to each other.
Exactly.
Murmur. There was the drop top fire truck. Did you notice that was like a fire truck with the chop topped off? Like, with the chop? With the top chopped off?
Chopped off.
With
That's a bit of a tongue twister.
It was like a convertible, like a hot rod looking fire truck thing. I'm like, is this California?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
L.A.
It was a convertible fire truck.
It was fucking crazy to me. But anyway.
So Joe is giving the cops a statement, and he lets out the fact that his wife was fucking his friend. And Sarah asks if Joe knew that she was having an affair, and he said that he suspected, which doesn't surprise me that much.
Do you think he did not tell them about the affair because he thought it would make him look guilty, or because it was like embarrassing?
I think I don't know. It never really occurred to me. I think that he left out the fact that they were having an affair because, more out of an embarrassment thing. Because there's no way he could know that this was going to escalate to something greater. But I mean, also his buddy did.
If he said, well, the guy was over here fucking my wife, then I feel like it would make him suspect number one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
But I think it's also like protecting probably his own dignity. Yeah. And maybe he doesn't want to slam his wife or whatever in front of everyone.
Probably a little column A, a little column B then. Yeah.
I'm curious. But anyway.
The fact that he
didn't tell him about that shit.
Yeah, that's true. So, so then Sarah gets mad at him for not standing up for himself and showing a little pride. And Joe says that he's fresh out of pride.
She says all that shit that like he should have said to her, which becomes relevant later in the flick. But was like, why don't you say like fuck me, or like that if the cops weren't here, you'd spit in my face and all this stuff. And he's like, sorry, babe, I'm fresh out of pride. It's like, dude, this guy is like got big self-esteem problems.
But it is also a huge foreshadowing for later.
Yeah.
But then Sarah blames Joe, and he's like saying that he was never around and he was alone. And he was like, buy a fucking dog.
Facts.
And then she says that that he's the one who hates Joe, which is right. Like he clearly hates himself.
That's what you were saying earlier. Like that this is not so much about like she wanted Mike.
Right.
It was more like just something to get Joe's attention.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And that's what it strikes me as. And anyway, so Joe's retort to that one is I get to live with myself 24 hours a day. I mean, this, once you told me where the origins of this point is like all of these lines from Joe is like, this is absolutely Shane Black just putting all of this experience into this character.
Pouring it all out. I'm curious about this bad breakup. Hopefully he's moved on with his life.
One would hope.
I think he said like something like this was the first like person I ever loved.
Yeah, sure.
And like it sounds like she just destroyed him.
Sure. No, man, we've all been there. The first one that you really love and then just destroys you. Man, that sticks with you for a while. So anyway, cut to a strip club.
Yeah, that was the gratuitous nudity finally.
Always. I mean, there has to be in a 90s action movie.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if it's a 90s action movie and it doesn't have a strip club, I'm wondering if you're doing something wrong. Like, where is your screenwriter?
Right. That's why you got to, even if it's not at all like furthering the plot, you just need a random shot of some breasts.
Right, exactly. That's just sort of a part of the deal of 90s action movies.
Totally.
Anyway, so we finally see Jimmy again, and he's toasting to Alex the astronaut, who's the bartender.
The beginning of a motif.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the guy tells Jimmy that he hasn't seen him shooting vodka since that time he cheated on Corey, which, all right, now we're okay. We've already tied Jimmy to Corey at this point.
Yes.
And then Jimmy says that he'd better pour another one then.
Which is kind of crazy. I thought it was kind of strange to be telling Corey's like coworker that you're cheating on her.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe he comes clean about those things.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. The bartender Riley points out that a guy would have to be crazy to cheat on Halle Berry, which
Absolutely.
is true. And this is like, yeah.
Do you remember that? There was a famous Chris Rock bit on one of his stand-ups about because whoever Halle Berry was married to did cheat on her.
Yeah, David Justice, I think, right? Was it?
I don't know if it was him or the guy who came after him, but it might have been. Or it might have been both of them.
It might have been both of them.
But like Chris Rock had a famous bit that was like saying like, no matter how beautiful of a woman you are, there's some guy out there that's tired of putting up with your shit. And like, I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Oh my God. And so in response to the bartender calling him crazy, Jimmy goes, I gotta be something because right now all I do is lose friends, drink, and nail anything with a heartbeat.
That's good.
His bartender's response is, well, I'll just stay on this side of the bar then.
That's a good.
It's a great Shane Blackism.
Line. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, so I feel like this was the first time Damon Wayans was doing like acting, not just comedy.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good.
No, he was great in this movie. I mean, and he and Bruce Willis, as we'll see moving forward, have a really strong chemistry together. And yeah, he plays a tortured soul in his own way, just like Joe plays a tortured soul, you know? But elsewhere in the bar, we see that Corey is serving a drink to Joe.
What do you think Joe's drinking?
Oh, man. I would say he's just drinking...
It's a little like a drink out of a cocktail glass.
Yeah, it was a drink out of a... I'm going to say it's like a vodka tonic. I'm not a vodka tonic. I'm going to say it's like what is the thing that...
Scotch and soda?
Yeah,
That's
Scotch and soda.
on my notes. I'm like, he feels like he's drinking bottom shelf Scotch.
Oh, yeah.
Or Scotch and soda.
Or maybe he's like...
It was brown, whatever it was. It was like a brown liquor.
Well, maybe he's like inherited from his father, too. Maybe he's drinking like Irish whiskey, or maybe it's like a 7 and 7
definitely could be like a Jameson
like
or something.
Yeah, you could be doing a Jameson.
Okay.
Whatever it is, that is a man down on his luck drink, for sure.
Yeah, the cheapest cocktail imaginable.
So Corey tries to pay Joe at that moment, but he stops her. And he asks why the police can't help her with her problem. She gives a really evasive answer saying that after she's been killed, the police will do an autopsy.
Right, yeah.
And then there's a little bit more back and forth between her and Joe where he complains about the music.
It was just Shane Black. It was just jokes.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good. Eddie Griffin was playing this DJ's playing sort of funky, like, Tone Loc or Power Revolution or some like Milli Vanilli type shit, and Joe hated the music.
Yeah,
he's like saying, "I hate this funk shit," and then she's like, "What do you want to hear?" And he's like, "Named this just the squarest possible white music."
And this isn't even the last time.
It's like, imagine someone stripping to like, Roy Orbison or some shit.
Stripping to Pretty Woman, that'd be amazing. Yeah. And this isn't even the last time his taste of music comes up. Like it comes up later on in the movie too.
He's a grumpy, pissed off man.
Yeah, he's like a curmudgeon before his time. But Corey goes over to Jimmy at this point, and Jimmy wants to know who Joe is.
Right.
And she said he's a nobody. And then I was like, oh shit, I got to go because it's my turn to dance. And then Jimmy gives Joe the stink eye, like very, very aware that there's something about to happen between these two.
We should pause to address the elephant in the room, which is the hat that Jimmy's wearing.
Oh my God, this hat.
What the fuck is that
It's
thing?
like halfway between a fez and a beret or something.
It was like a Santa hat. It was like a Black Panther Santa hat.
Yeah, it was
very
like
strange.
Black
leather with a long stocking cap with like a little tassel on the end. It's like, what the fuck is this thing?
But it was like really rigid though. It wasn't.
Yeah, it felt really tight around like the head, and then it had this like thing. I have no one has ever worn a hat like that.
No.
Were they trying to make that happen?
I don't know if they were just. Yeah, I don't know.
That shit was nuts.
The costume department was like, this just screams.
He wears that hat for half the movie.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
They commit to it at least. At least it's not a one-off.
Maybe the hat people paid a lot of money to get that hat in.
Oh man, if that were sort of like a cross-promotional thing.
Yeah, right.
Like Gucci was trying to
product
get
placement.
Yeah. And now we cut to a really obviously edited dance sequence where anytime we see Halle Berry's body, Corey's body, it's clearly a body double.
Yeah.
And then they cut to from her shoulders up for the close-ups.
Right.
But we
You
never see her face
and the body in the same shot.
There's no way that was the same person.
She was dancing to a weird song called "I Want to Be a Cowboy" by a band named Boys Don't Cry, which is like a British, like, I don't know what, sort of something like The Cure or the Smiths or whatever. It was just a whole odd choice. It was kind of sexy. Mm-hmm. I mean, but that was, maybe that's just me.
Well, no, Joe likes what he's saying. So you weren't the only one.
Halle Berry was, whew.
Yeah, she was a good-looking woman.
She's an incredible woman.
So while Joe is admiring the view, Jimmy slides up to the table and he goes, "You're nobody." And Joe goes, "Shh, don't tell anyone," which is a great retort.
It's solid line. That's funny stuff.
Jimmy says that Corey said that he's a nobody. And Joe tells Jimmy to relax and that she just hired him to look after her for a little while.
Yeah.
Jimmy wants to know what type of trouble she's in, and Joe says that that's confidential, but he doesn't know either. So
yeah, that's the thing. I think he doesn't actually know.
Right, but he's not going to reveal that he doesn't know.
Right? Sure. He's too cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says, "Women have secrets. Water's wet. The sky is blue. Women have secrets. Who gives a fuck?"
It's a very good, whatever nihilistic sort of worldview he's got.
Super nihilistic at this point. Jimmy wants to know how she found Joe, and Joe says he actually hired his friend Mike, but Mike's dead now. And Jimmy sarcastically says, "I'm sorry to hear that." And Joe's response was, "He was an asshole." I mean, this whole thing is just like Shane Black all the way down.
I think that's what got me on thinking, actually, if you think about it, there's every reason to think that his murder had to do with this case.
Right, exactly.
So maybe you don't want to get mixed up in it.
Yeah.
You got a wife and a kid and all that.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, here he is.
Yeah. So Jimmy keeps pressing Joe for the details, and Joe keeps deflecting. Jimmy tells Joe, "You couldn't protect a cup of warm piss," and throws some ice cubes at him.
I love that line. You couldn't protect a cup of warm piss. That's good stuff, man.
Joe calls Jimmy by name and tells him to go ahead and try to hit him if that's what he wants. And Jimmy goes, "Oh, so you know who I am?" And then Joe, rattles off Jimmy's resume. LA Stallions quarterback, kicked out of the league for gambling and drug use. Another tragic tale of wasted youth.
I feel like if that was who he is, most... maybe I'm thinking about in 2024 culture.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would recognize you.
Yeah.
If you're like this star quarterback in the NFL team for your city and you're imagine a Michael Vick type character.
Yeah.
You can't just walk around and no one knows who you are.
No, and I do think you're looking at it slightly through the lens of 2024, but
right.
But I mean, even in 91,
this is pre-internet, pre-smartphone. Yeah.
But still, a sort of a not a conspiracy. What's the word I'm looking for? A tawdry sort of tale of a hero falling from grace. That's going to be news, whether you have the internet or not. Especially as high profile as he was theoretically in his team, right? So
that's a huge scandal, right?
It is a scandal. Why was scandal the word that I couldn't find there? So Jimmy gets mad and starts insulting Joe.
He called him a lowlife.
Yeah.
That's such an old-fashioned sort of insult, you lowlife.
I'm sure Joe's like, "Yeah, I know. Thank you for letting me know." I mean, I don't know, how is this going to hurt me?
Thanks for hitting me with the G-rated insult.
So Joe says that at least he didn't shit his life away on cocaine.
Yeah.
Ooh. Jimmy throws a punch at Joe, but Joe catches it, his fist, and squeeze hard enough that Jimmy drops to his knees.
But that's the most badass move
the way he just catches his fist like
and
that.
Drops him to his knees. I'm like, you don't want to fuck with this guy.
Right. I mean, the movie keeps subtly implying that Joe is not a guy to be fucked with.
He's like Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, to a certain extent. Like Superman, if Superman was burnt out on life in general. So Jimmy gets up and retreats with his tail between his legs, at which point he grabs Corey off the stage, drags her out of the club, much to the dismay of everyone involved.
Including all viewers in 2024. No, let her strip.
No, let her finish her run. Let her finish her set. So later on, Joe is standing outside of the club and he finds out that he's run out of cigarettes, but he doesn't have any money to buy any more.
It was the day of the cigarette vending machine.
It was awesome. He looks around and he sees the vending machine outside and he can't buy it.
Imagine a world in which you could just buy cigarette, no age check.
Yeah.
If you just got the money to pump into the machine, you can get a pack of smokes.
I still have vivid memories of being at Waffle House and people buying smokes in the Waffle House.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a different world. I mean, it's amazing how quickly things have changed since even 91.
You just don't. This dude's chain smoking in this movie, and you don't see that anymore.
No, I mean lighting cigarettes with cigarettes, like true chain smoking.
Well, yeah, we'll note it when it comes up in the movie. But crazy.
Yeah. Really, really, it's a different world. But anyway, since he doesn't have any more cigarettes, he starts looking around, and he looks up to see a campaign billboard for a guy, Senator Boehner, and it's his campaign, and this triggers a flashback.
And that started guy Chelsea Ross, who we talked about before, just the most punchable face you've ever seen.
Yeah. So it's a cleaner cut version of Joe, and he's clearly working some kind of a security detail. He and his partner are stationed outside of a hotel room, and we hear a woman screams from inside. And so this is the callback to the photo from earlier in the movie.
And it's an amazing bit of continuity.
Yeah.
Because we were like, wait, is his partner in the flashback is the same guy that was like, seemed to be his best man at the wedding or whatever? Mm-hmm. That is some fucking production design.
And they both, I mean, like, it was clearly the same guy in the photo.
He looked like
Jon Bernthal.
He looked like Jon Bernthal.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was like, okay, they really got this actor.
I wonder if there were more scenes where this guy got to speak.
I wonder if that's the case.
That were axed out or something.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
Because that's a lot of like, this guy got paid for this and he never spoke.
No, didn't have a single line.
Maybe he was like buddies of the writer or the producer or something like that.
Maybe he was
like throw you some work here.
That seems possible.
Yeah, anyway.
But yeah, so his partner is content to ignore the woman's cries, but Joe can't take it and he busts in. So we cut away from the flashback. We're back in the present, and Joe throws his empty glass up at the billboard, saying that he didn't vote for that son of a bitch.
It was nice of the club to like let him take a glass outside.
I know, and then he shatters the glass. At which point Joe looks down, sees a cigarette butt in the gutter, admits that he is a lowlife, bends over to pick it up, and then proceeds to smoke a discarded cigarette from the gutter.
Woof.
But as he does it, as he starts it, he's clubbed in the back of the head. The four goons are standing over him, and one of them confirms that, this is the guy that was talking to Corey. So the guy in charge says, okay, take him somewhere else and kill him. So, oof.
This was a crazy bit where one of the dudes is like, there's no contract on him, and the other guy's like, well, then you'll do it for free. It's like, I know very little about contract killing, but I know that's not how it works. No. I'm not killing somebody for free.
Nope. That's not how this works, right?
I'm not like on salary. Like, it's unlimited kills. Like, you just pay me and I'll kill anyone you want for a certain amount of time.
You want best-in-class health insurance? Then you kill this motherfucker for free.
Yeah.
So elsewhere, Jimmy and Corey toast champagne to Alex the pediatrician now.
It seems like they just had sex.
I think that they did, but...
The trailer of the movie had like a snippet of a little sex scene.
There apparently was an entire sex scene that got cut from the movie.
Yeah. I read about there was a sex scene that got edited out, but I then also noticed like Jimmy's got his leather pants on again. And it's like, imagine fucking and then putting on a pair of leather pants.
God, just the sealing the flavor inside. Oh, God. So Corey tells Jimmy to come back to her apartment because
they're like still in the club.
Yeah, they're still in the club.
What the fuck?
I know.
He just pulled her off stage and is like, where'd they even go, to the VIP room or something?
Yeah, I guess they went, but there's no sex in the champagne room though.
I can't imagine a world though in which he yanked her off the stage and she's like ready to fuck now.
I mean,
like I would think she's pissed at him.
I guess, but I mean, she wasn't getting a lot of tips. So it wasn't, like no one was like giving her any money while she was up there.
There's also a weird moment where Jimmy just like chucked his champagne glass and like shattered on the floor. And it's like, now there's broken glass all over the floor, man. You're barefooted in there.
No respect for strip clubs. No respect for their property whatsoever. So Corey wants Jimmy to come back to her apartment because she's got a birthday gift for him. And Jimmy asks for a hint, and she says it might get his football career back on track, which is okay. That's a thing. Back on the street, the big guy is walking Joe down an alley at gunpoint.
He had that massive Desert Eagle.
Yeah, just ridiculously large gun. That's going to be so loud if he fires it. I mean, it's just, why would you want to carry around a massive piece like that? But it's again, sort of like classic Hollywood. The gun looks cool.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're not worried about practicality here. We're just like, this looks cool. And so the goon says it's not personal, but Joe says he's wrong because Joe actually fucked his wife. It's just like,
so funny.
Just a nonstop one-liners coming for this guy.
That's what you think.
Yeah, right.
I fucked your wife last night. Like, what? dude was like, how'd you know it's my wife? And he's like, she said her husband was a big pimp-looking motherfucker with a hat. Just like, oh, the show had me cracking up, man. Bruce Willis is good with the comedy.
He really is. He really is. So Jimmy and Corey pop out of the door outside of the strip club. Corey is dismayed that Joe is nowhere to be found, given that that was what his job was. Jimmy wants to know what kind of trouble she's in, and she says some creep has been threatening her. Jimmy says she doesn't need Joe, and that he'll bitch slap anyone that messes with her.
Bitch slap him. Which they acted like that was a new phrase at the time.
I don't know when that came into the common
Maybe
vernacular.
it was newish, but she's like, you'll bitch slap him? Yeah, I'll bitch slap him.
Yeah. So I don't know. Corey gets
he said, like, Joe's a bum. What's he going to do? Light a match and breathe on him? Which is like his idea that his breath is flammable. There's just so much alcohol.
So Corey gets in her car, and Jimmy gets into her car and follows her. So we're back in the alley now.
She's driving like a sweet old, like a 1980 Corvette, like a Stingray. It's a beautiful car.
Which we talked about this, and Jimmy has to be just underwriting every aspect of her life.
I think
right?
so.
Like,
there ain't no way.
I mean, he keeps cheating on her, and she keeps coming back to him.
I wouldn't think a stripper in the 90s has like got a passion for like vintage sports cars.
I mean, it takes all kinds. But,
yeah, that's true.
But by the same token, even if she did have a passion for vintage sports cars, where is she going to get the money to pay for it, though?
True.
Right? So I feel like Jimmy is definitely underwriting her to a little bit here, but it is a really nice car, though. So back in the alley, Joe's down on his knees. He's like still continuing to roast the would-be killer.
The dude is like, do you want it in the chest or the head? And Joe says, that's what your wife said. But it's like, that actually doesn't make sense, I think. The wife said, does Joe want it in the chest or the head?
I know.
I think it would be like, you told the wife, you asked the wife if she wanted it in the chest or the head.
I love it that it's almost like a proto that's what she said joke almost. So
I liked also like, he's like, ask me how fat she is. And the guy like could not resist. He's like, fuck you. He's like, how fat is she? And then he had like a run of jokes.
Yeah.
My favorite was like, you got to slap her thigh and ride the wave in.
Your mama jokes too. I mean, your mama's so fat jokes. I mean, he's got everything in this movie. The hitman actually starts liking the jokes, and he starts laughing a little bit. And he doesn't notice that Joe's picked up a broken bottle off of the pavement, and he turns around, stabs the guy in the throat, takes his gun, and then grabs his own gun from the guy's jacket. And it's a great moment because the guy goes,
he's still talking.
Yeah, he's still talking. He's bleeding to death, and he's still talking.
I imagine that dude was gonna die. Like you'd have to get you need medical attention really quick, or you're gonna die from that.
And the last words he says is that you are a bastard.
You bastard.
And then Joe goes, and then some.
Another little motif, a little rule of three.
Yeah, exactly. Another running little thread here. So back on the road, another car cuts between Corey and Jimmy, and then immediately rear ends Corey.
Right.
In the confusion, Jimmy gets separated because of a traffic light turn. So he's caught on the other side of the traffic light from Corey. Corey pulls over, and Jimmy's like, no, don't pull over. What are you doing?
Right. That's like all of us. Right. It's like, why are you getting out of your car?
You're being threatened right now. And this is not random. Don't get out of your car. So anyway, she gets out of her car to yell at the other driver. And when she does, a bunch of gunmen pop out of the first car and just like mow her down like Sonny Corleone style.
Absolutely.
I mean, just crazy number of bullets.
It's like, why were they driving a 1971 Citroen? Like, that's a very conspicuous car. It's like this French
I know.
car. It's like, I feel like you say, tell the police, they were driving a Citroen. And it's like not going to take them long to find out who. There's like 10 of those in the city. You know?
I know, exactly. And 4 of them are owned by Hollywood producers. So so Jimmy speeds up through the red light to try to help her, but the gunmen start shooting at him too. At this moment, Joe comes running out of the alley, and he's dual wielding pistols ablazing, which is that becomes a bit of a Willis kind of trope a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like that was dual wielding everything in The Last Man Standing, right?
And he had like the little, in one hand it's like the Desert Eagle, and the other hand is a snub nose. Yeah. It's a very awkward.
His body is going to be way off balance pulling the triggers on those. But so Joe kills one of the guy as Jimmy's fleeing back to his car. And so while Joe reloads, Jimmy plows his car into the second thug And it's really graphic the way he pins this guy
that's
between
like a
two
big
cars.
ow, I can't imagine how much that would hurt.
But it also wasn't fatal because it's like he crushed his legs, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, just everything is, they fucked your whole shit up.
I know, just all of it is done. Anyway, the remaining goons run away. Joe kills the goon that's pinned between the car.
Another like close up headshot.
Yeah,
and just like
really,
just dude's head explodes.
So many watermelon explosions in this movie. The police begin to arrive at the scene, and Jimmy goes to check on Corey, who is clearly dead. Again, she was Sonny Corleone.
Right. This was a tiny role for her.
I know.
And when I think of this movie, I think of it's like, it's Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans and Halle Berry.
Yeah, I had forgotten how short she was in the movie.
She's like in the movie for 5 minutes.
I know. It was like, that's so crazy to me.
That's a movie star, though, I guess, right? Is like you're barely in it, but
yeah, it's like
you're very memorable.
Like Hannibal Lecter, right? He's only in the movie for 15 minutes, but Anthony Hopkins just, changes the world with his performance.
The connection between Corey the stripper and Hannibal Lecter, and I love that.
I mean, why not? Why not? So later at the police headquarters, Jimmy is just completely in shock at what's just happened. Meanwhile, Joe has got yet another cigarette in his mouth. It never ends. And Joe starts grilling Jimmy about his leather pants, right? This is the whole...
It's kind of a weird thing, I think, to be asking about.
Yeah.
Like to a dude whose girlfriend just got killed in front of him or whatever. But it's also like, on some level, I think it's designed to like get his mind off it.
Yeah. And
like,
it's
tell
just
me more about these pants. Like, where'd you get these pants from?
And like talking about how expensive they are.
Yeah.
And like
he's like
$600.
He's like, what, do they got a little TV in them?
Yeah.
Or something. It reminded me of the $5 shake like conversation from Pulp Fiction. Like, $5, that's a milkshake. He's like, doesn't have bourbon or anything? Like $600 for some pants that doesn't have like a TV in them?
Yeah. So at this point, the two senior police officers
it's
who
like
are going to be
nameless lieutenant,
right? Did they? I don't know that the names are ever actually said in
so. There's
the
just
movie.
The two, but that's smart.
Yeah.
If you're going to have too many characters, you got to know some of these characters they don't even need names.
We don't need names, right? Exactly. And I don't know that they really needed both.
You just got to make them
characters.
look very distinct,
right? Yeah, and they did look distinct. And I guess you needed both of the characters so they could bounce off exposition off of each other, which they do in multiple scenes over the course of the movie.
It's just like Red Heat, where it had too many characters and it was obnoxious.
Yeah.
And this one's like, you could say these are too many characters, but Shane Black knows how to not make it tedious for the viewer.
Right, exactly. So in the lieutenant's office, the lieutenant is complaining to a subordinate that he doesn't believe the statement that Joe gave them. And that he thinks Joe is way more clever than people think he is. The subordinate says that Joe looks like someone who just slept in their clothes, which he did. And the lieutenant says that years ago he was Secret Service and he actually saved the president's life, which is like, whoa, that's a turn. It gives context to what's going on.
Every one of these movies has to have like a higher up police officer that for no real reason has a problem with the hero.
Right, always.
You know?
Oh, again, it's
this guy's not even Joe's boss.
No, he's not.
Like, there's no indication that Joe was ever police.
No, right, exactly. He was Secret Service, started a private detective agency.
And this guy knows him well and hates him. Crazy.
Whether he actually is a cop or not, he still has to have the gruff senior officer who hates him for no reason. Not? So outside of the office, Jimmy is telling Joe that he thinks Corey's story about a creep was total bullshit.
Right.
And Joe agrees and says this was a professional hit. There's no question about it. Joe thinks that Corey hired Mike, but then Mike got scared and tried to dump the case on Joe, which, all right, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
why you're like, oh, this is a smart writer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And they're like, I guess he didn't dump it soon enough. He's like, they're still scraping him off my stucco.
Jimmy wants to know why his friend would try to set him up like that. And Joe admits that Mike was fucking his wife. And that if he were to die, then Joe would be out of the way and Mike could fuck his wife however he wanted to.
Right.
Which is like kind of dark, but
little piece of the puzzle falls into place.
I know, right? So at this point, the lieutenant pops out and tells them that they're both free to go. And then before he leaves, he pulls Joe aside, though, and said, hey, someone has been making obscene phone calls to Senator Boehner. And, it just letting you know, it better not be you. Right. So Joe walks away and the subordinate asks what the deal is between Joe and Boehner. And the lieutenant says that Boehner got Joe fired from his Secret Service job. So
there was also a crazy bit where the lieutenant told Joe he needed to shave.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not his boss.
I know.
You're not his superior. You don't get to tell him what to do. There's a new invention called a razor. It's like, this is just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to tell him how to groom himself.
Yeah, I know. It's
bizarre.
I don't know though, because like in the 90s,
it's like the writer wanted to have it both ways.
Yeah.
He wanted to be, this is his asshole boss, but also he's not a cop.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, when you're watching the movie, you don't really question it though.
Yeah.
Because it is such a part of
it's every
genre.
action movie.
Right, exactly. So while Joe collects his pistol from the front desk, Jimmy asks why Baynard had him fired, and Joe says it's none of your damn business. We see the continuation of the flashback at this point. Joe barges into a hotel room, and it's just like, it's a dark movie.
Oh yeah.
Baynard is beating up a woman in her panties, chained to a shower curtain rod.
It's like full like Senator Geary from Godfather Part 2 or whatever.
Just crazy. And so then Baynard yells at Joe, and then Joe, like, his response rightly is he just beats up Baynard. I mean, just knocks him out. So we cut back to the present, and Joe tells Jimmy that he knocked out 4 of Baynard's teeth.
Which is kind of like a Die Hard 2 line, right? Where they were asking, what'd you do to that reporter?
Yeah.
It's like, I knocked out 2 of his teeth or whatever.
Yeah. Jimmy tries to unsuccessfully break the ice with Joe, and then Joe goes, I like ice. Leave it the fuck alone.
There was the other bit where he's like, you ever play ball? You got a good build. And Joe responded with this like just wildly homophobic response.
It was still the 90s too. I mean,
shit.
He's
not the most likable guy.
No, but it's still like there is that point. I mean, at least it wasn't Red Heat bad. I mean, Belushi's character was just unbelievably, irredeemably awful. Like through the whole movie. So as they're leaving, Jimmy asks Joe what their next move is, and Joe says that his job is done and he's heading home.
I guess that's a fair position to take at this point. Like,
I mean,
I don't even think he got his $500.
No, absolutely not. Like he didn't do the job.
I'm surprised he didn't go through her pocket and like take the $500 out.
I wouldn't put it beyond him. Jimmy says that this can't be the end of it after they watch Corey get murdered, and Joe tells Jimmy to go ahead, get yourself killed trying to solve the case, and he's right. Like, he realizes that this is a big, nasty, nasty thing, and he doesn't want any part of it. So as Jimmy and Joe walk through the police parking garage, a cop in a car says he recognizes Jimmy and asks if he's a drug dealer.
Yeah, that was odd. It was like,
It was like, okay. I mean, Jimmy says that he was a player for the LA Stallions, and the cop says greedy players are ruining the sport, and speeds off, which is, I think maybe like Shane Black was sort of like, man, I haven't mentioned the actual, like, scandal at the heart of all of this in a while. I need to bring it back up that there really is something going on about football and what is going on in the sport and around it right now.
That's a good point, because it did come out of nowhere.
Right.
This little interaction.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like he'd be recognized. Like, if you're a guy who follows football, you'd know what the quarterback in your town looks like.
Right. Absolutely.
And he's like, what position did you play? And then anyway, you couldn't just walk around anonymously like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is just like reminding us, nope, there's a point to all of this. This is going somewhere. So Joe says he's got some sunglasses in a case if Jimmy needs to hide from any more fans. And then he asks where Corey lives because he wants to go and look around her apartment.
So Joe's completely flip-flopped.
Yeah, I know.
From like, I'm done with this to like, okay, actually I want to go to her apartment and snoop around.
Which I think that's just a continuity error more than anything. It could be an editing error. This might be a thing where there's some interstitial where he, has a change of heart. But anyway, so Jimmy says that she lives in a swanky apartment complex and he can show Joe where the spare key is hidden. Joe says, I can get in without a key, but Jimmy says, she's got a top-of-the-line alarm.
And he was like, oh, but you probably know how to circumvent. And he's like, circumvent? He's like, it's a vocabulary. He's like, do you read much? And that's where Joe said the great line about, my subscription to Jugs magazine just ran out. So it's just Shane Black banter, you know?
Yeah. Oh, they banter enough, and then they eventually get in the car together and head out of the parking garage.
Right. So the unlikely partnership.
Yes, exactly. We're off to the races now. I mean, we're deep into Act 2 now.
That's I feel like good action movies have that. Like, you got to have the oil and water partners,
Yeah.
That don't necessarily like each other, and then they come to
respect each other
and love each other by the end or whatever. Absolutely, man.
But I think we're going to call it there for part 2.
Yeah, that's a good leaving off point.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Excellent. All right.
I gotta freshen up my cocktail.
I need to bust open another one. I'm running dry right now.
Thanks everybody
Okay.
for listening to our football season spectacular.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week with a lot more on The Last Boy Scout. And until then,
We'll be back.